Act 1, Scene 2. So if you remember, in Act 1, Scene 1, we saw the scene opens with Flavius and Marullus rebuking a bunch of Romans who have come out there to celebrate Caesar's victory. The scene is set for us to understand that there is definitely a political unrest. A lot of people are weary of Caesar's growing power and they want to make sure that he is grounded. They want to pluck his wings before he can fly too high. The scene is now Act 1, Scene 2. The scene begins with a trumpet sounds. Caesar enters along with Antony, who is dressed for a traditional foot race, as well as Calpurnia, Portia, Decius, Cicero, Brutus, Cassius and Casca, followed by a great crowd of commoners, including a soothsayer. Murillus and Flavius follow after. Now, if you remember, we did read that it was the feast of Lupercal, so there is a ceremony that's going to be held, and we see a whole bunch of people, including Caesar and his train, enter. Caesar, Calpurnia. Caesar calls out to Calpurnia, his wife. Casca, peace ho, Caesar speaks. So Casca tells everyone, quiet down, Caesar is talking. Caesar, Calpurnia, here my lord. She comes forward. Caesar, stand you directly in Antonius' way when he doth run his course. Antonius, then he turns to Antony, Mark Antony, and says, Mark Antony, Caesar my lord. Caesar, forget not in your speed, Antonius, to touch Calpurnia, for our elders say the barren touched in this holy chase shake off their sterile curse. So Caesar first tells Calpurnia that make sure that you're standing in the way when Antony runs the race. And then he tells Mark Antony that, in your speed, don't forget to touch Calpurnia, because there is a folklore or there is a belief there that women who have not had children, who have not been able to conceive children, if they are touched by the men running in this feast, they are blessed with kids. Antony, I shall remember, when Caesar says do this, it is performed. Antony says, done Caesar, it will be done. Caesar, set on and leave no ceremony out. So then Caesar says, okay, let's start the ceremony. So if you look at this, it shows Caesar's public display of authority, and it also reflects his superstitious beliefs, right, and his concern for a legacy. He doesn't have kids, which is why he wants Mark Antony to touch Calpurnia during the course of the race so that Calpurnia can conceive and have a child. Then we see a soothsayer. Caesar, who calls? Casca, let every noise be still, peace yet again. So the music stops. When the Caesar hears somebody calling out his names, he's looking for someone. Who's calling me? Caesar, who is it in the press that calls on me? I hear a tongue shriller than all the music. Cry, Caesar, speak. Caesar is turned to hear. So he's saying, who is it in the crowd who is calling me, whose shrill voice is more empowering and powerful than this music that's playing? I'm attentive, please tell me what it is. Soothsayer, beware the Ides of March. Caesar, what man is that? Brutus, a soothsayer bids you beware the Ides of March. Caesar, set him before me, let me see his face. So a soothsayer tells him, beware the Ides of March. What is he? Who is this guy? So Brutus says a soothsayer. A soothsayer is like a fortune teller. He's asking you to be careful on the Ides of March, which is the 15th of March. So Caesar says, bring him before me, I want to see his face. Cassius, fellow, come from the throng, look upon Caesar. So Cassius calls the soothsayer to come in front of Caesar. The soothsayer approaches. What sayest to me thou? Speak once again, Caesar says. Beware the Ides of March, the soothsayer again tells him. Caesar, he's a dreamer, let's leave him, pass. So he says, he's crazy, I don't know what he's talking about, let's move on. This dismissive response shows Caesar's arrogance, and it foreshadows his downfall. Trumpets play, everyone exits except Brutus and Cassius.